February 1st, 1942. As of this week, it is becoming clear to the Axis High Command that the goal of the Red Army's offensive is to sever the only railway line that is now keeping supplied the entire German Army Group Center. It is therefore not surprising to learn that this week the Germans launched 2 localized counterattacks and one even with the reborn 17th Panzer Division. But with the mass of the Soviet cavalry swarming westwards, it seems that the Germans don't have enough frontline troops with which to re-establish a solid defensive line. And so this week, as the horsemen of the Northwestern and Kalinin Fronts race southwards, the mounted units of the Bryansk Front push westwards via the Roslav Gap and are getting ready to attack Smolensk from the south. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new weekly episode of War in the East 2, the online game challenge, and it's now February 1st, 1942, February 1st in game 1942, and oh boy, you should see the smile I have on my face right now, because I don't want to sound overly optimistic, but the situation for the Axis looks pretty dire in front of Moscow. Because this week, true that there have been some engagements in the, let's say, Kaluga, Kirov, Dubrovka, Bryansk breakthrough, but it seems that the attack of last week completely caught by surprise my opponent, because there have been no battles in this area here, as well as there have been no air battles throughout the entire front, maybe just over here, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, besides that, I would say we will talk about these battles in a second, but first of all, let's have a look at the situation. Almost 20,000 losses, 38,000 men on the map, 12,000 in the reserves, 61,000 men received as replacements. Now, these numbers are actually scary. Like, I believe that there was some transfer of units from the, let's say, either reserves or Western Europe theater box to the map. Because, yeah, 1,000, if only they were just 1,000, but 122,000 men, it's a lot. It's really a lot. Plus, 1270 guns, 133 AFVs, and almost 190 planes. Yeah, that's pretty scary for me, to be honest. Yeah, anyway. Events-wise, we have Garrison in Western Europe, Smolensk Partisans, and the Yanks, finally, they arrived, they joined the fight in Western Europe. Yeah, losses, so briefly the losses, oh, that's interesting. Okay, 17 444 and 16 149. Interesting, I've never seen this so tightly closed losses for both sides, to be honest. Air losses, yeah, pretty much nothing. Only one operational loss for the Germans. And yeah, let's have a look briefly at the engagements on the ground, because there are some interesting developments. First of all, here he surrounded my 11th Cavalry Division. Yeah, exactly, with the 225th Infantry Division over here, and now it's completely surrounded. And it is surrounded by the 13th Motorized Infantry Division. And for the first time in all of my games of War in the East 2, it's surrounded by a unit that I don't know what it is. And as I said, I never had it before. It could be that maybe next turn, if I collect enough data, intelligence on this unit, I will know what it is. But yeah, that's pretty interesting and surprising at the same time. He kicked back the 80th Cavalry Division, also with the same unit Oh yeah, with the same infantry unit, which I think is now, yeah, over here. And yeah, I believe because he wanted to restore the Smolensk-Yelnya Spasdemyansk railway line, which now I believe that either these or these hexes have now been broken in terms of damage. So if he has a depot over here, it's now isolated, and he will have to move his FBD units, I think, next week. Yeah. Besides that, there has been an engagement over here with the 36th Motorized Infantry Division, which was stationed, I think, in Wroclaw. And I believe that he did that to evacuate the HQ unit. I don't know if this was the HQ that was parked over here, but maybe, I don't know. And smartly enough, he just regimented his 36th Motorized Infantry Division as well as the 6th Panzer Division over here to kind of shield my advance over here, which is a bit annoying for me because now I will have to go around this wall of Panzer and Motorized Infantry regiments to swing around and grab Smolensk. Now, I believe that by now he understood my grand plan, which is to, yeah, as I said, go around this wall of units and either take Smolensk from the south or take Smolensk and Vitebsk, or because I think he will now start to fortify these two hexes, I can use Plan C, and Plan C is to just surround and go in between Vitebsk and Smolensk and link up with the elements of the 48th and 22nd armies rushing in from the north. Here in the north, I want to grab as many hexes as possible, ideally reaching Veliki Luki, and then just expand in every direction with the goal of linking up here either at Smolensk if I'm fast enough, or in between Vitebsk and Smolensk. Because like if this works, this will be like Zhukov's most wet dream of encircling, I would bet, the entire army group center. Yeah, this is if this works, this would be amazing. This would go down in the history of war in the East too, like the craziest PBEM ever fought so far. Yeah, and now that I'm looking at here, I noticed one interesting thing. He has evacuated this hex over here, which is now for me a problem because this is a clear hex. So even if I occupy it, he can just push my units back from this hex by attacking it from all sides over here. And yeah, that's so I don't know if I will just flip it and then pull back, or yeah, I don't know. I will think throughout the turn. What I also want to do this week in the southern sector of the front, besides swinging around... Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. He also attacked me over here with the 29th Motorized Division, and here he also had the Totenkopf to, let's say, relieve the siege of Dubrovka. I mean, okay, that was a smart move from his side. Here we have the third motorized. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and also he isolated here the 1st Cavalry Corps with the 17th Panzer Division! Our friends from, I think it was last October, November, when they got wiped out from the map, and they have now rejoined the Eastern Front. Not that I was missing them, but well, it's good to know where they are now. But yeah, so he relieved the siege of Dubrovka, which is, yeah, okay, fair enough. And it will now allow me to, it will now force me to go around with all the mobile units that I have. Now, because the flanks here will be extremely overextended, on one hand, I want to mobilize every single cavalry unit that I have over here. I think here as the 30th will not be disbanded, so I don't send it. The 24th, I think these are now too far behind the front line here.
Anyway, so let's just send the 62nd. Yes. Can I? Yeah, they are two. Can I move them by rail? No, because it's broken. So yeah. Anyway, I will move. Maybe I can do it now. Also, yeah. Fine. Screw it. To the Stavka directly. And yeah, the idea is to move all the cavalry units into this gap, and in the worst case scenario, I will use them to shield the flanks. Ideally, these flanks here just defended by weak regiments, because my idea is not now. I mean, I would love to push into Bryansk, but because here I see that he has the Panzer divisions and here some motorized divisions, he could just encircle again these units over here. So I will just try to push here as deep as possible, and to move as many cavalry units as I possibly can. Also, what I noticed right now is that I have to thank my opponent for leaving me this juicy railway line here from Sukhinichi, Kirov, and Roslav. If I could take Roslav and maybe not Dubrovka, but still, if I could secure Roslav, I could build some depots over here and maybe one over here to just supply this gigantic corridor of troops. And yeah, so I would say that's already all. Actually, no, that's not all, because you see, last week I got too excited and I forgot one important thing. I forgot to move from the reserves some units. I already took, exactly, I have here the my magic spreadsheet with all the rifle divisions. So next week I have to remember to move to the map the 117th rifle division. And if I look now at the commander's report, let's select the cavalry units. Yeah, exactly. I do have quite some units that need to be brought on the map. Yeah, so actually let's do this. Let's move them all to the map. Yes. Okay. And next week I can just yeah, rush them in this corridor as well. So that's all for this turn, folks. Yeah, enough talking now. Finally, about time, and let's jump straight into the episode. Alright, folks, so while I was preparing this episode, I dug a little bit into the manual, and while rewatching the introduction, I realized that the famous HQ unit, which I think was the 57th Motorized Army Corps HQ, the one that was stationed around I think Roslav, formerly defended by the 36th Motorized Infantry Division, is actually the HQ that I now spotted, let's say, very east of Smolensk, and I think east of Yelnya, between Yelnya and Spas-Demyansk. And that's because I realized from the manual and from my experience that when during an enemy turn a unit adjacent to one of your hexes is, let's say, identified because of the detection level, and this unit is being moved during the next turn of, the turn of the opponent, this unit still retains its original detection level. And that explains, for instance, why I could still detect this turn that HQ unit, which I think was very, let's say, mobilized from the salient, well in the safeness of the German rearguards. And maybe this explains why my cavalry unit north of Yelnya and Spas-Demyansk is now being surrounded by an unknown unit. Because I didn't have any detection level about this unit, and I think I'll never know which unit this was, or this is, because I assume that my opponent will wipe out my isolated cavalry division next turn, during his turn. And then I just realized while preparing this episode that maybe I should mention one strategic consideration. It's true, the Germans, or I would say my opponent, the Axis I command, in the early turns of the winter counteroffensive, he mobilized quite a lot of his Panzer and motorized infantry units. I think at the 29th, at the I don't know, the 18th Panzer Division that were mobilized in the Malo-Yaroslavets salient. But now I just realized that those units are now free to be moved and shuffled anywhere along the either along the salient, the huge Rzhev-Vyazma salient, or along the flanks to provide some cover, or even a mobile reserve for, who knows, some potentially some counterattacks. So I don't know. While at the beginning I was happy to see where all of his mobile units were, the fact that my opponent abandoned that salient now means that I have no clue of where his mobile reserves are or could be. So yeah, I mean, it's good to be optimistic about the winter counteroffensive. It's good to exploit the chaos that is now reigning supreme amongst the Axis lines, or German lines, I would say. But I also want to be, let's say, ground to earth. I want to be realistic. I want to be cautious. I want to try to anticipate my opponent's moves. And let's say, if I was the Axis I command, really I would for sure isolate the Bryansk Front first of all, and then I would focus at least in trying to. I would do my best to contain the push of the Northwestern and Kalinin Front. But I don't know. Let's see. I'll do my best to keep my flanks protected. And, well, as always, you know, folks, no battle plan survives the first clash with the enemy. So I'm ready to change the course of action and change my plans depending on what my opponent will do. But for sure, the ultimate goal remains the complete encirclement and annihilation of Army Group Center. Yeah, that's my ultimate goal. And, well, folks, having said this, I thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I leave you to the rest of the episode, and, well, I'll see you all again in the next video.
Front.